The trap was already set. The cameras were rolling. The microphones were angled forward. The room was quiet in that tense, anticipatory way only NFL press conferences can create. One question, just one carefully worded sentence, was all it would take. A spark. A headline. A narrative ready to explode. And for a brief moment, it looked like Shedeur Sanders was being steered straight into it. But this time, he didn't take the bait. Instead of stumbling into controversy, instead of offering a quote that could be sliced, clipped, and twisted across social media feeds within minutes, Shedeur paused. He looked directly at the question. He dissected it. And in doing so, he flipped the entire dynamic of the room. What was meant to trap him became the moment he drew a line. And whether you love him, doubt him, or are still undecided, one thing became clear that day. Shedeur Sanders is no longer playing defense with his words. If you believe players should protect their reputation in today's media climate, make sure you subscribe right now, because this story goes deeper than just one press conference. And by the end of this video, you might see this entire situation differently. When Kevin Stefanski's firing sent shockwaves through the organization, the attention was supposed to focus on leadership changes, front office direction, and the future of the franchise. Coaching changes are business decisions. They happen. They're rarely personal to a single player. But somehow the spotlight drifted again. And it drifted toward Shedeur. The question posed to him wasn't loud. It wasn't aggressive. In fact, it was delivered in that polished, professional tone that makes it sound harmless on the surface. But layered underneath it was implication. Positioning. A subtle invitation to choose sides. Praise the new direction, and risk appearing disloyal. Defend the former coach, and risk creating tension with the current staff. It was a lose-lose framing. And that's what made the moment important. Because Shedeur recognized it instantly. Instead of answering within the narrow box the question tried to place him in, he widened the lens. He shifted the tone. He made it clear he wasn't there to fuel speculation or create artificial drama. Calm, measured, direct. That composure wasn't accidental. It was learned. Because this wasn't the first time he had found himself in the center of a narrative storm. From the early comparisons to Dylan Gabriel to the quarterback competition whispers, from practice note breakdowns to overanalyzed body language clips, Shedeur has operated under a microscope that rarely dims. When Dylan Gabriel's name began circulating in heavy rotation during the early stages of camp, a storyline began to form almost overnight. Competition talk escalated. Debate segments multiplied. Social media threads dissected every throw. Was it organic? Maybe. Was it amplified? Absolutely. And through all of it, Shedeur said very little publicly. He let practice reps speak. He let coaches evaluate. He let performance become the answer. When the noise cooled and the reality of on-field execution became harder to ignore, the tone shifted. Suddenly the skepticism softened. The leadership qualities were highlighted. The arm strength was praised. The poise became a headline. That fast pivot is what fuels frustration among supporters. Because when doubt spreads loudly but praise arrives quietly, perception lingers unevenly. And that's where the deeper issue begins, not criticism itself but consistency. Professional athletes understand scrutiny. It comes with the territory. But repeated framing around controversy, especially when performance doesn't support it, begins to feel less like analysis and more like narrative pursuit. Then came the speeding ticket incident. A traffic citation. Not a felony. Not a suspension. Not a scandal shaking the organization. A traffic stop. Yet the language surrounding it expanded quickly. Words like discipline, responsibility, maturity, organizational concern. Supporters argued the scale of reaction outweighed the situation. Critics countered that professionalism matters at every level. But here's the part that mattered most. Shedeur didn't respond publicly with emotion. He didn't post rebuttals. He didn't escalate the situation online. He absorbed it. He continued working. He allowed the cycle to burn out. That silence was interpreted in multiple ways. Some saw maturity. Others saw vulnerability to ongoing narratives. And eventually, silence reaches a point where it risks becoming assumed agreement. Which brings us back to the press conference. When the coaching question arrived, it wasn't just about that single moment. It represented accumulation, pattern recognition, the awareness of how quickly one sentence can be shaped into a storyline that lives far beyond its original context. In today's media landscape, quotes don't exist in full form for long. They become trimmed, edited, captioned, debated in isolation. Shedeur knows that now. So instead of answering inside the trap, he acknowledged the framing itself. That's a subtle but powerful shift. Because when a player calls attention to the structure of a question, they're not just responding, they're controlling the narrative architecture. And that requires awareness. It requires confidence. It requires the understanding that reputation isn't just built on touchdowns and completion percentages. It's shaped in press rooms, headlines, and public perception. At that moment, Shedeur wasn't emotional. He was strategic. And strategy in front of cameras is growth. Midway through this story, let me ask you something. Do you think athletes should simply answer every question as presented, or do they have the right to challenge framing when they feel it's loaded? Drop your opinion in the comments right now, because this debate is bigger than one player. And if you're appreciating this breakdown, make sure you subscribe. We're going deeper. Because here's the truth most people overlook. The relationship between players and media isn't adversarial by default. It's symbiotic. Reporters need access. Players need visibility. Both sides operate within the same ecosystem. But tension arises when perception of intent shifts. Was the question tough journalism? Or was it positioned to provoke? That depends on perspective. Critics argue that strong questions are necessary in professional sports. That athletes are paid millions and should handle scrutiny without complaint. Supporters argue that accountability and narrative engineering are two different things. And when patterns appear, repeated sharp angles toward the same individual, debate intensifies. Is it bias? Is it coincidence? Or is it simply the reality of being a high-profile quarterback in a massive market? One thing is undeniable. Quarterbacks carry disproportionate spotlight weight. Every organizational tremor vibrates louder around them. When a coach is fired, the quarterback is questioned. When a game is lost, the quarterback is dissected. When a minor off-field issue occurs, the quarterback's character is evaluated. That's the position. But here's what makes this moment different. Instead of absorbing it silently, Shedeur engaged with the framing. Not aggressively, not disrespectfully, but clearly. And clarity changes perception. It signals maturity. It signals awareness of media mechanics. It signals someone who understands that protecting your narrative doesn't mean avoiding accountability, it means refusing misrepresentation. As the season approaches and quarterback competition narratives continue, this exchange may linger longer than people expect. Because once a player demonstrates they won't accept narrative traps, future interactions shift subtly. Questions become more carefully worded. Tone adjusts. Dynamics evolve. And that evolution might be the real headline. This isn't about painting villains or heroes. It's about examining how narratives form, and how individuals respond when they recognize them forming in real time. Shedeur Sanders didn't explode. He didn't escalate. He recalibrated the room. And sometimes, the calmest response carries the strongest message. If you've made it this far, you already understand this story is layered. And we're just getting started. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications because in part 2, we're breaking down how this moment could impact the Browns' quarterback competition moving forward, and why the next few weeks might define more than just starting roles. And before you go, comment below. Did Shedeur handle it perfectly, or should he have just answered and moved on?